In March of 2020, just a few months after procuring my show, I was at Creative Engineering searching for molds and cosmetics.
If you want, you can pull that box on off so that you can just really sort it out.
Okay. Unfortunately, Creative Engineering had only a small supply of fur from the production of the characters in the 80s, and we were running out. I ordered many new samples from various companies, but none of them produced fur anything like the Rock-afire furs in regard to both texture and color. So I decided I would try having the fur produced myself. I wanted both fans and myself to have access to authentic, accurate fur for use when restoring characters. Unfortunately, most textile manufacturing has moved overseas since the 80s, and the two existing fake fur producing companies in the US could not meet the standards I needed. So I found a company in China who stated they could accurately reproduce the fur. I began by sending them a sample of raw fur in May of 2020. They produced 2 samples and sent them back to me to inspect. It was already really close, but it needed further refinement to be a bit darker. In August of 2020, after they sent another sample, and each sample took up to 3 weeks to send, we had finalized the raw fur and it was sent into production. After this, I sent them more samples of fur to be produced. We had to go through multiple iterations, with Mitzi's being the most difficult to get correct. On November 5th, I received my first samples. We felt that Mitzi's fur was too reflective. Fats and Beach Bear's furs did not stand up well enough, and Billy Bob's needed a slight color change. We went back and forth on this, and by December 15th, I got more samples. Mitzi and Billy Bob's furs were finalized, but Fats and Beach Bear still needed a change. Once that was ironed out, production began. Finally, on January 5th of 2021, the fur had finished production. It took about 2 months to ship the fur to the US, and import fees were absurd. However, on April 27th of 2021, the fur arrived. I already had it on pre-order, so I quickly cut out the pieces that people had already purchased and sent them out. This element of the show restoration process itself took almost a year, and constant back and forth with the company producing the fur to ensure accuracy. It took time and was very expensive, but in the end, I'm happy with the result. Fans can now purchase accurate recreation fur that is officially licensed by Creative Engineering. A few interesting things were discovered in the process of producing the fur. One was the composition. Fake fur today is produced using primarily acrylic, whereas in the 80s they used predominantly polyester. We found that furs higher in polyester content are more posable, meaning the fur can be combed in one direction, and even with the movement of the character, it will stay in place. Furs that are high in polyester content are almost non-existent nowadays. Some have a small amount, but usually they are composed of acrylic and monocrylic fibers. In the future, once I release the first video of my show, you guys will get to see a show using all the new fur. I still have a limited amount, so feel free to check out my eBay and get it while it lasts.